Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me for this prayerful pause with a pastor. I got in a discussion the other day about God and whether or not God is static. Well, yes, static. Is God always the same forever and ever? Of course, there's a whole branch of theology. I think it's, is that progressive theology? I've forgotten which subdivision of theology it is, but that's the understanding that God keeps changing. As we evolve, God also evolves. And that was disquieting for the person I was speaking with, who really wanted to see God as just always permanent, and that she was the one who would keep changing and growing. So I have a different way to maybe think of it, that God, whatever the infinite is, remains infinite. So how can we know if it's changing? I mean, infinity is infinity. And we, on the other hand, are finite. We do keep changing. We keep growing. We keep emerging and understanding and becoming more enlightened, or questioning, or our perspective changes, or a million and one different ideas. And as soon as that happens, then our relationship to that infinity changes. Think about maybe God as a lighthouse, and we are this boat that's sailing around. And as we sail, our perspective, our understanding of the lighthouse changes, the vision, the view changes, the experience of it changes. And yet the lighthouse itself remains essentially the same and goes way beyond us. The light is way beyond us. And I find that comforting to think about. Kind of wondering where all of you are on that. Do you ever think about God changing? And if so, what causes God to change? Perhaps if God is in relationship with us, and perhaps if God changes, then it's how we change that initiates or encourages or solicits a change in God. I don't know. On the other hand, if God is all-knowing and unchanging, then how do we account for different reactions from God at different times for the same circumstance? God's whimsy? I have a little trouble with that, thinking about a capricious nature of the divine. Of course, if you get into string theory, everything is just random anyway, right? And trying to go to its greatest state of chaos. Kind of a heady thought for today, but I'm curious to think about and invite you to think about today. Does God ever change? We know that Jesus did. We know that Jesus changed his mind a couple of times. One in particular, when he was confronted by the Syrophoenician woman who convinced him that if the dogs could have the crumbs under the table, then surely he was put there to speak with more than just the Israelites, more than just the Jewish nation that was based in the temple in Jerusalem. We know that Jesus changed his mind. Does that mean that God changes? What do you think? How were you brought up? I was brought up that God didn't change, but then I was also brought up in a family that taught me to question everything, so I'm not going to be any help on this one. I think it's for you and Spirit to figure out. All right, a little something for this summer day. Hope you have a great one. Thanks for joining me for this prayerful pause. Time out of our lives to think of something greater than ourselves. I'm Pastor Deb Swift of South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. And until next time, God bless, take care, bye for now.